It shouldn't be that hard, should it? To have an international Super Bowl?
I think the bigger issue is probably taxes and working that out with the players union. You oversaw a team in a different country, and that was just Canada, and it was certainly complicated. I mean, whole different tax structure over in Europe. A lot of players wouldn't be excited to go there. You might have people blocking draft picks the way that Eli did when he didn't want to go to San Diego, right, David?
Let me give you a shout out to Revenue Quebec. It is the biggest. It makes the IRS look fantastic. It is such a pain in the neck for players who are dealing with Canada taxes. You get credits for your U.S. taxes, but you have to fight for if they're dollar for dollar. It's a whole Megillah when you play 81 of your games in Canada, which is half of your salary gets taxed in Canada. It's a complete pain in the neck to cross the border back and forth all these times. So you're right. It is a definite lift. And if you are playing in London and you have small kids, it's a big union issue because you can't just go back and forth as easily, which brings us back to the supersonic jet, because you can have your family live in New York and play for Houston, and the union doesn't say a word about it. And if the flying time becomes somewhat similar to get to a different place, you're just going east instead of west, I think that can happen.
But David, a Super Bowl, though, again, I go back, like you guys are talking in terms of a team being based overseas. Yes, that can be complicated. To have a Super Bowl.
Why is that such a big deal?
What,
what Minnesota gets a Super Bowl? I'm
how hard could it be to have a Super Bowl in Madrid or in Rome or whatever?
That would seem to be the way to actually usher in a new era of European expansion for the NFL, is start with the Super Bowl and then announce all these other things.
Do we start it on our time or do we start it on Madrid's time? Because they're 6 hours ahead.
No, the NFL is always considered Europe when it comes to the Super Bowl starts. It's not a prime time start. They try to increase the audience. It's usually like a 6:15-ish start that does consider international markets.
Well, that's pretty late though. When the Super Bowl that starts at, I think kickoff is normally 6:29 Eastern. That's 11:30 in
David,
England.
if you're a rights holder, you kind of want the primetime spot.
It's Sunday. Do a 1 p.m. kickoff. Like, what's the big deal?
That's what it would be.
Yeah.
The
Do it
Super
like a
Bowl would
3:30.
change.
Yeah, like a 3:30 is fine.
What's 8:30? 1 o'clock's fine.
Because it's 8:30 in the UK. I mean, we're getting down in the weeds here.
So let's take it back a little macro. The way owners vote on Super Bowls is where they want to be, because unlike the other sports, every owner goes to the Super Bowl. No owners go to the World Series. I mean, I would bet you $1
they don't go.
That 2 owners at most go to the NBA Finals, maybe 0.
Yeah.
But in the Super Bowl, they all go. And they want to go where it's nice. It's why Miami is always a great choice. Vegas, obviously. LA, obviously. Minnesota was less than ideal. But when you have to get a Super Bowl in order to get a publicly funded stadium and the trade that's made, owners are willing to give in on that because they want the new facilities. Going to Europe, not the end of the world, but it's not a great time of year in early February in any of these big European cities. London's weather in February,
Terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.